take all of us inside what you're hearing, what you're picking up inside Republican circles that most of us never get inside those rooms. Are Republicans privately more worried about this than they publicly let on?
I think it's worse than you even think it could be or hope that it could be. I mean, I just had this conversation the other night. People who are Republican activists, people that are Trump, they are 100% with Trump. They are not changing where they are. When you get talking to them, it's kind of like, hey, maybe just quit saying this stuff. Maybe if we just put our head in the sand, this won't happen. My eyes are closed. You can't see me, kind of thing. But it goes to the heart of where Republican enthusiasm is right now. We talked about this. We saw it at CPAC. We saw it at Turning Point with the vice president. Republicans aren't just nervous. They're at the point where they want to wish this away. They're not ready. They don't see a victory for us, and they're just hoping this all goes away right now. And that is a huge problem for Republicans because it really sets us up. And these are the things that keep us up at night, all night long, is if regular Republicans' enthusiasm is down and continuing to go down, they're not going to show up in the polls. They've just given up. They're not going to care. And so our worry, our nightmare scenario right now is that every MAGA person shows up and votes every MAGA candidate out there in these swing districts, and they run pure Trump day in and day out. And they're going to win the primaries, but they're going to get their butt kicked in the general election. And so what we're starting to see over and over again is just that problem.
Let me pick up on something you just said about voter enthusiasm.
Mhm.
I saw a Republican political consultant like you, probably a friend of yours, quoted in Politico the other day saying, this is a persuasion election. It's not a base election. In presidential elections, it's a bit more of a base election because people are showing up and you're trying to motivate people. On the other hand, midterm elections, people are not guaranteed to show up.
Correct.
That's sort of the whole point. Voter turnout is so much lower. And therefore, in a way, that feels backwards to me. And what you just said about voter enthusiasm becomes incredibly important. And what I'm looking at here, this is some CNN polling. MJ is perfectly channeling what I think a lot of Democrats are feeling, that we're just not that enthusiastic about our representatives and our leadership in Congress. So you pick that up in the polling, but the most important number here is the third line down. Extremely motivated to vote in 2026. 67% of Democrats, only 50% of Republicans. That would be the number that if I were you and I were going to work for Republicans would make me most nervous. When you guys are privately confabbing among Republican political operatives, right? Which I imagine you do it like a castle at the dead of night before sipping blood or whatever it is you guys do. What numbers do you look at? What numbers make you most nervous right now?
First, it's that it is the voter enthusiasm, the voter turnout. It's Trump's approval numbers, which continue to plummet. And then the other side of this, and this is really, and you touched on it just a second ago here, our best hope is the Democrats need to screw up royally. And I'm confident they still can. But it's so the
I
other
share your
kind of third.
confidence, brother.
I know. The third number I keep looking at is the Democrats and who's leading. Look, we can only get so far with the Mondamis and the AOCs and to create a villain for us. Trump's biggest problem is that Democrats have been so quiet right now. There's no foil. There's no one to turn against. There's no one to say, here's what is going to happen if you don't vote for Republican, because they've been smart. Democrats have been smart, staying quiet, staying silent, and just navigating these waters. As a strategist, the things that start keeping us up that we're all talking about is how do we pounce once you guys come out of hiding, if you will? How do we pounce to get out there and start painting Democrats in a way that is that to motivate that base again, because they are not motivated. And right now, all things being equal, we have a turnout problem for Republicans. And I'm only talking swing districts. Like, I'm not talking deep South districts. We're not losing you're not losing my seat in South Carolina. But where we are going to lose, and Virginia has the redistricting plan up today, where we are going to lose in some of those districts that we need to win to hopefully maintain a majority to maybe hold the Senate in some of those tight seats. Alaska should not be in play. That's a great example. Alaska is in play because we can't get our people excited about what Donald Trump is doing, what Republicans are doing, which is nothing right now. And so that's what we keep looking at, is we keep looking for that next step of what we can leverage and get out there and say, this is how we're going to win.